Okay, hello everyone. We've had a lot of rain and wet weather and windy weather the last week or so it's been difficult to stay outdoors doing a job, and lots of little things are unfinished. We've been trimming the top of this hedge to tidy it up a little bit, and we've got all this which needs to be raked and tidied up. But the dogs have been cooped up all week as well because of the rain, so we're going to head off now and have a walk. And I thought, while we're on the road, I can show you some of the summer herbs that are ready for harvesting now. Okay, dogs, sit. So all of the summer herbs I'm going to be talking about today are in my two books, the Weed Handbooks. But they're beautiful wildflowers and they're also medicinal. So why wouldn't you gather them? They're there for you, they're free medicine. What could be better? And we've done the spring plants. We've looked at things like plantain and cleavers and dandelion, and now it's time to look at these lovely summer plants that start growing June to September, like the meadow sweet here. This is a great remedy for the stomach and for indigestion. It also gives pain relief because it contains salicylic acid, and in fact this is where, along with willow bark, this is where we get our aspirin, or at least originally, before it was Jazz and Brock, run, at least before it was synthesized. So we'll head off down the road, and if you stick with me, I'll tell you about a lovely special offer that I've put together to celebrate Lughnasadh at the beginning of August. Go dogs, go! We're lucky as well that this strip of green that runs down the road, it's full of clover. So the pink clover, or the red clover, is another wonderful medicinal plant. It's very good for skin conditions like psoriasis, so it's a lovely flower to use for making oil infusions, and obviously take it internally to clean the blood as well. In recent research, it has shown some evidence that it can be good to reduce tumours. But it's a cleansing herb. It cleans the body. So it kind of stands to reason that anything that might become a blockage in some way will be removed by the clover. It's also good for children's coughs as well. So it's, again, like all plants, there are many uses. And I've just spotted something over here. We've already passed some of this agrimony, or agrimony. I never know how to say it, so I just call it agrimony. This is a lovely plant. It's known as the fairy wand, or it's known as cocklebur, because it's got these little sticky seeds on, and they stick onto you. Oops, that one didn't. But they tend to stick on to animals' fur anyway, and that's how they get moved around. The yellow tells us that it's going to help the liver and the gallbladder to produce bile and to store more bile. It would help with issues like jaundice, and it's also good for breathing, especially for women. If they're not breathing properly, that will help relieve that kind of stuck feeling if you're getting stuck. So it's going to help joints as well. It's a great thing, a great plant on an energetic level to get you moving again if you've been stuck or if you've been frozen. So there's lots of it here as well. In fact, I find there's more and more every year as it's travelling up and down the road. And I haven't been able to come out and harvest any because it's just been so wet the last week. But I think the weather's going to change again, and we'll be lucky maybe over the weekend to get some. Look, we've got some marsh woundwort here, or hedge woundwort. They're very, very similar. They grow in damp ground, marshy ground, or they grow in the hedge. But they're so similar that they're interchangeable. And this is a woundwort. It's a wound healing plant. So any kind of wound you might end up with when you're working outdoors, this is something you can use. Just pulverize the leaves, stick them into the wound. It's antibacterial, antiseptic, so it's going to make sure the wound stays clean as well as encouraging it to heal. It's a beautiful little plant. And it's very good as well for keeping insects at bay because it doesn't smell too good. So again, if you crush the leaves and rub it onto you, you're going to repel the insects, the biting insects, the midges and things like that, the flies. Oh wow, perfume from this wild honeysuckle is just divine. It's wonderful, and it's a very heady perfume. If you had a bowl of this in your room would be fragranced. So along with the meadowsweet, which is also very fragrant, you can imagine how houses would have smelled, 300-400 years ago when these herbs were strewn down on the floor. Not only did it smell good, but they also had properties such as the honeysuckle is an antiviral, fantastic remedy for influenza, colds, flus, shivers, fevers, and also apparently improves the libido. So along with the beautiful perfume, there's no reason not to give this a try. Hey. And I've mentioned brambles many times before because they're so astringent. The leaves are so astringent, they're going to dry anything up. So heavy bleeding, menstrual bleeding, diarrhea, they're just there for the taking along every hedgerow. And this time of year now, the flowers are just beginning to turn into fruits. And of course, they're packed full of vitamin C, so again it makes a wonderful winter remedy if you make something lovely like an oxymel or just an infused honey even. And of course our lovely friend the nettle. We've used the nettle in springtime as a spring tonic, very cleansing and rejuvenating and restorative after the winter, but now the seeds are forming, and the seeds are very beneficial for men. So they help with the prostate along with the root, but also they've got all the minerals and the vitamins and the other benefits of the nettle itself. So we can collect the seeds and dry them and grind them up, use them on our food as a condiment. Just get that in there, and we could use that all year round then. And of course, the nettle is, don't get rid of your nettles because they will have a second flush if you cut them back, but don't try to get rid of them permanently because they are the home to many butterfly species. There's about 5 different butterflies lay their eggs here in Ireland on the nettle leaves. Oh, I can just see some wild thyme over here. Isn't that beautiful? You'll often find this over rocks and on little grassy banks like here, but this is your wild thyme. It has the same antiviral, antibacterial properties as garden thyme. It just it's got a thyme flavour, but it's not quite as strong as the garden thyme. But you could certainly use this in your medicine. So there's lots of lovely colour in the landscape. There's the bright yellow of the ragwort, which we don't use in medicine any longer. It can be toxic, it can be poisonous. You can see all the red seeds from the dock and the beautiful purple heather dotted around on the tops of rocks. Here we've got some yarrow, and I'll just pull one of the leaves. Its Latin name is Achillea millefolium because it has thousands of leaves. Each one of these teeny tiny leaves is actually another branch of other leaves. So there's lots and lots and lots and lots of leaves on this leaf. And yarrow is a wonderful medicinal herb to have in your garden because it's a diaphoretic, so it will help you sweat out toxins when you have a fever. And it's also very good for heavy bleeding, for wounds. But it's what we call an amphoteric because it will also help women whose periods have stopped to bring back the natural cycle again. If you had a nosebleed, you can stick the leaves up your nose, crumple them up, squish them up a bit, and it will stop the bleeding. It's a brilliant styptic, which is what it means when something stops bleeding. So yarrow is a lovely plant. Oh look, still lots of lovely, fresh, juicy silverweed, packed full of vitamin C. You could make this into a medicine for the winter and just take it as a prophylactic to just boost the immune system. Another herb. All of these herbs I've mentioned are in my books, the Weed Handbooks, Volume 1 and 2. So if you want to know more about these particular plants, you could have a look in those books. So this is Little Self-Heal. It's such a beautiful... it's one of my favourite allies, and it's a fascinating little plant. It looks like a little orchid, but when you look at it, it looks like somebody putting their tongue out and saying ah. And it's very good for the lymphatic system, specifically for the throat and the tonsils. So again, it's one of those plants that has that signature. But also, if you look at the flowers from a different angle, they look like a sickle, and so it's known as... It's another wound herb. It's known as carpenter's herb because carpenters are working with sharp tools. They could cut themselves. And but I love this for its energetic medicine. I find it as a flower essence. It's really, really helpful for people who can't get over that last hurdle towards recovery, whether it's physical recovery or it's a psychological recovery or whatever. And self-heal can often just give them that little nudge if you include a flower essence in with a herbal remedy. So we've got hawthorn here, and already the berries have appeared. Normally they don't appear till mid-September, and we're only just mid-August really. But all the berries are here, and this is a fantastic heart tonic. It's for the cardiovascular system. The hawthorn does many things. So if you see a hawthorn tree, with respect, harvest some of the berries, because when you get to a certain age, you can use hawthorn as a prophylactic to prevent heart issues. So these berries are not quite ready for harvest. They haven't turned red yet, but there's a couple on one of the bushes here that has. Just to show you what they will look like. So there's one that's already turned red. Oh look! Look what we've got here. Beautiful marshmallow. So soft and velvety. And all of this plant is beneficial because you can use the leaves and the flowers for the respiratory systems and the skin, and you can use the roots for the digestive system. Very demulcent, which means it's softening and soothing any irritation on the skin or in the digestive system or in the respiratory system. It's a beautiful, gentle, soothing herb, and it's a lovely thing to have in your apothecary as winter comes and people might start getting harsh coughs, or if anybody had, digestive upsets. Obviously, you're treating the person and you're trying to match the plants to the person rather than to the complaint. That's something I always like to emphasize. Okay, dogs, we're going to head back. But before we head back, I'd just like to tell you about a special offer I've put together for people to celebrate Lughnasadh. Lughnasadh is the 1st of August. It's a very important festival. It's celebrating the beginning of harvest, and it's as old, it predates the Olympic Games. It's a very old festival here in Ireland. And to celebrate Lughnasadh, I'm going to give a free Lughnasadh festival module with everybody who purchases the Introduction to Herbal Medicine course. So I run 2 courses. I do the Introduction to Herbal Medicine and I do a Wise Woman Way training. And the Wise Woman Way training is made up of 8 festivals that go around the Celtic Wheel of the Year. Lughnasadh is the next festival, so you will get a free module with every purchase of the Herbal Medicine course and the 2 books, the 2 Weed Handbooks as PDFs. So you have to sign up by the 1st of August to get this special offer, and I think it'll be a really lovely thing to have those 2 different things together, because it will just make your studying more holistic and will enhance your understanding of plants. I hope you enjoyed today's film. If you did, subscribe and hit the bell for notifications. And have a look at the website danusirishherbgarden.com for more information about us and about the herbal medicine courses I offer and the Wise Woman Way training. And if you go to the shop, you can find the books, the Weed Handbooks and other herbal goodies. And remember, we put a new film out every Sunday. So looking forward to seeing you next week.